Alright, howdy there, fellow Shatterers. Welcome back to the second edition of 10.2.5.2.4.2.0 Shatter Priest. Definitely playing around with some talents. Last video, I would say, maybe not I'm up to date. I was trying to figure out, what's good. I haven't been playing too much, but I have done some research on my fellow Shatter Priests that are much more experienced and knowledgeable. So we're going to take a look at some talents that I really like, starting with Wizkdmg. Obviously, probably the best Shatter Priest right now, just doing the most absolute damage every game. Not even right now, but just like in general, Wizkdmg, definitely good person to follow and learn from. And watching him play like in the AWC is crazy, man. He just makes game-changing plays like every game. But he's also, on top of that, doing an insane amount of damage. And these are his talents, I believe. At least on the right side, the left side might look a little bit different. But he's playing Mastermind, which is going to give him big mind spikes. And obviously combo Ancient Madness like Dark Ascension into a Mind Spike is really big. And since he's playing with a Rogue, doesn't really need Shadow Crash because he can just free cast a lot and it's going to help him get off really big burst combos. I noticed that he's just always dotting all three players and he's never not pressing damage. Like if he gets kicked on VT, he's instantly boom, 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 Mind Spike, Mind Spike, Mind Spike. So keeping a little bit of Mind Trauma stacks, keeping his Dark Evangelism up. Wizkdmg just does a really good job at always doing something, and his talents are not easy to play. Like I've definitely had games where I play it and I do the most damage ever and it's awesome, and I've had games where I just get completely bodied and it's hard. So definitely play to your skill level. If you're having trouble keeping dots up, you need to sub something out for Shadow Crash here. Probably would be Mastermind in this case. But one thing I have found against teams with pets, like even if you are free casting the whole game, I find Shadow Crash to be really awesome against teams with like demo locks or hunters or unholy DKs. Shadow Crash just feels really strong. We'll look at some games here in a minute, but obviously against this team, it looks like I did 20 million damage. I did a couple, maybe like a 1 to 2 million to the pets, but mostly spreading it pretty evenly throughout the players. And this is because I have so much insanity to spam Devouring Plague, and I'm just having Screams of the Void tick, and I'm doing damage with Psychic Link. Like there's just so many interactions between having more insanity and dotting multiple targets, so it's really nice to play into teams with pets. And I don't know if Wiz does this or what his theory is. Maybe he just doesn't care because he's just going to be better and do more damage with his builds. But yeah, this has a little bit less burst potential because our Mind Spikes are not getting that Mastermind benefit. However, I'm still hitting 200k Mind Spikes, so I'm losing a little bit of burst, but then I'm gaining a lot more consistent damage, it feels like, with this build. A 200k Mind Spike with Mastermind should roughly be like 240, 250k depending on how hard you're hitting. So if we look at a game where maybe I'm playing the Mastermind, yeah, 254k. So if you prop Dark Ascension, DP, and then you Mind Spike Insanity someone, you got everything rolling for you. You got your Mastery, you got your damage bonus from your cooldown. Maybe you even have Twist of Fate up to go crazy. Yeah, I wonder what the highest Mind Spike is. Comment down below what your highest Mind Spike is. Yeah, anyways, those are kind of two talents I swap between. And then I also, like, for instance, I played Wizkdmg's talents into a Fist Weaver. I did completely no damage. It was terrible. So then I came up with a little melee cleave friendly build. Then I was rocking Driven to Madness and Void Volley and Void Eruption. Get Mindbender here. I don't even take Void Torrent because I'm like, what's the point if I can only channel it with precog? And when I have precog anyways, I'm focused on getting dots out. I got Mind Spike still for that extra tree. And then I also go into Death Speaker for just more instant damage and Mindbender for insanity generation. This is just a very dot heavy focused build. Just purge, void bolt, dot, DP, kind of repeat. But yeah, let's take a look at some gameplay now. So those are the three kind of talents I play. And I would say Wizkdmg's build is mostly what I play against like melee caster, healer, or double caster. But if it's a team with pets, I like to run that CMG build. And then even sometimes if it's a team with 3 kicks, I also like to pick up Shadow Crash because depending on your comp, you can have difficulty casting. So let's take a look at that first build for CMG's talents, because I feel like that is maybe lesser known to some people. You can follow CMG at twitch.tv/CMGXD. And then Wizkdmg, obviously, we've seen him win an AWC and all that stuff, so we know what his talents look like. Let's take a look at something a little bit different, and I'll briefly talk about just like rotationally what I'm trying to do. I think generally in the beginning of the game, it's best to get at least dot both the DPS and then do a Void Torrent. Maybe you'll get a little bit of value from Psychic Link. Definitely make sure that you're using that Unfurling Darkness proc as well. Here I'm at risk of like being CC'd and not being able to use it and then not getting dots out. So generally I like to at least dot 2 DPS before I sling out a Void Torrent. Void Torrenting really early is awesome because it's going to spawn your idol, which will do some damage and help you generate some insanity. And then obviously Void Torrent itself generates a lot of insanity and just does damage. And it also gives you 3 stacks of Mind Trauma. So starting out the game, just trying to getting our buffs going here. It also gives you stacks of Dark Evangelism if you're playing that talent as well, which I don't believe I am right now. Looking at trying to get this Druid dotted, so I'm going to use Shadow Crash. It's also going to hit all these pets in the trance. And this is going to help me with insanity generation. So look at my DPS right now at 51k or whatever. And then watch what happens as I have dots on everyone, right? And now I go into my Dark Ascension. And since CMG is playing improved Mind Games, I'll do a Mind Games here. Shoot at a Death. We want a Death a lot so that we're getting these stacks for our tier set here. And then when that number gets to 12 or whatever it is, like your Shadow Word Pain does big damn. So there I actually used a Shadow Word Death without a proc. I don't know why. That was probably not good. And then I did Devouring Plague, Mind Spike, Insanity. You want to let your Devouring Plague tick for at least 2 seconds, or sorry, 3 seconds with your Screams of the Void. And then as this buff is fading, once it fades, you can reapply your next DP so that you're keeping kind of like uptime on that, right? You're not just overlapping in it and wasting the benefit of that talent. Keeping dots up on everything. I didn't need to VT the Hunter again there. I could have just shit out that Void Torrent. Druid needs to be dotted now. But in the meantime, I'm just standing still doing damage. If I was smart, I would have refreshed that 3 stacks of Mind Trauma I had on the ret there. Just looking back at my errors here. I'm going to Mind Games the Druid pretty much on cooldown. It's going to make his HOTS do damage. We have Silence as well. MDing my Dragon Friend. Silence on that clone. Actually a very clutch silence because I waited till the very end of that precog. I don't know why I thought that was clever. So obviously he's cogged up right now. And then I'm waiting right until that precog ends and I silence. Keep my DH aggressive. Devouring Plague. Trying to run at the Druid. I should throw out a Shadow Crash too, but it looks like once someone's this low, like stop worrying about single target damage or stop worrying about AoE damage and just trying to finish them. Like obviously you want to keep dot up time on everybody, but when it's time to kill, it's time to kill. So if someone's not dotted and someone's at 10%, just focus on going for the kill rather than having triple dots up. However, now that everyone's kind of stabilized, I will go back for the triple dot scenario. Devouring Plague, and you can see I already have enough insanity for another Devouring Plague, but I want to let it sit for a second. So I get my Screams of the Void buff, use it again, Mind Spike, could Trinket Scatter if I want. Stun that. Really need to use this on Mind Spike Insanity. I feel like I've gone a long time without using it. Got it off. I always have enough Insanity to Devouring Plague with this crazy ass build. I actually canceled my Mind Spike on the Hunter because he got Rost and I switched over to the Ret who then walled. So just trying to hit the target with the target that's going to take the most damage here. Not MDing that because I don't have it. It's a 5-minute cooldown because of Mythic Plus. Debating on mind controlling the Druid here, and then I realized like it's just more effective to keep doing damage than to mind control. So we're gonna swap on the Druid here. He's gonna get silenced into a Mind Spike. I have PI for my DH out of this too. I'm pressing my PI button, but it's not working. Dark Ascension's up. I probably should have popped Dark Ascension beforehand. Now the Druid's Ironbark, so we're just gonna swap to the Hunter. Screams of the Void is over, so I re-DP to get that buff back up, and then boom, we did a bunch of damage. It was kind of a long game, but you kind of get the gist. Let's take a look at maybe the Fistweaver team. Yeah, we beat them that game. Here we go. So again, I'll show you the talents roughly in a second here. You can literally see me making this spec up on the spot, just like what would be good into melee. Don't want Void Torrent. I want as much instant and accessible damage as I can. You could probably still play Wizkdmg talents if you're playing like a spell cleave, but I feel like when you're playing a melee S-Priest comp, like you're just gonna get fucking cleaved so hard. They don't get punished as much for sitting on you. If I had a Destrolock free casting, it would be a different story. So silencing the Fistweaver is questionable here because that doesn't really do that much. I like to rather silence the Ret and stun the Fistweaver so he can't sank it or fear, something like that. We're trying to swap targets to rate who's going to take the most damage. So obviously the ret walls, warrior like parries. Now the monk walls, like it's like, what do we even do at this point? And the guy sacked, like, so annoying. I'm playing Shadow Crash, keeping dots up on everyone. You can't see my damage, but I can guarantee you that I'm not getting completely crushed. I'm kind of keeping up, probably not top damage, but I'm able to at least put out some pressure and make sure that I have 100% uptime on my dots. Trying to fake cast as much as I can too, so every time I get a cog, I'm able to get at least something out. Got a mind spike off with my cog. He triple stuns, I will silence so we can't cocoon. That's gonna get a magic bop. Try to MD, but it gets storm bolted. Our strat this game is to kind of cleave everyone, but then double fear the Fistweaver in the ret and kill the warrior, because warrior can break fear, but the other two can't. Get a precog, this gives me a void eruption, so my second void from the game. Void volley is a nice little peel for you, get some breathing room. You can see it spam fearing everyone, setting up for us. Really nice that happens. My dots are falling off, I need to get a Shadow Crash off, and we just win the game. I'm curious to see what the damage looks like at the end. So I did 7.9 million. The warrior also did. If you're doing the same damage as a melee player that has 100% uptime on you, I feel like that's a good thing. Maybe I could have used my globals a little bit better. I'm hard on myself for like not void bolting off cooldown. That's like generally one thing I see when I watch back my games, and then trying to get as many DPs off in void form as possible so that you can maintain that void form as well. Yeah, so I barely got out damaged by the red, and I did the same damage as the warrior. I feel like that's all you can ask for against a Fistweaver team. And then maybe we'll watch one with Wizkdmg's talents too. Wizkdmg. So basically, want to dot all three. Shaman's pretty far away, so it can be a little tough to dot him. He's in my line now. I'm kind of trolling. I PI'd, but I did nothing with this PI. It's kind of a bad start. Silence him. Running at him for fear. I get Horde into Hex. We're hitting the Shaman a bit. Dot him up. Mind Games him. As soon as he walls, I'm going to instantly just switch to the Priest. Keeping dots on everyone though. I have a fear here as well. Feared him on global. Void Torrent might get the disperse. Oh, Shaman did trinket that though. Keeping dots up on everybody. Need to dot the Shaman again. I know he has shear, so I kind of gotta be careful. I see his positioning, can't shear me there, so I free cast. Priest disperse, instantly swap to the ret. I'll silence Shaman off this too. Get the bub. Fear him on his lava burst. MC just off this for a global. Priest dispels him. Kind of dumb to do that against good players because they'll just instantly dispel it, but whatever. Fake them on the Mind Spike, Void Torrenting to get a full channel for that Mind Trauma and some Insanity. Dark Ascension, triple dots, here we go, time to blast, no shear. Just sitting here casting. We're at walls. Want to dot the Shaman really badly, but he's lining me, so whatever, I'll just hit the ret from afar. Notice my positioning, like, I'm too far to see the Shaman, but he also isn't shearing me. I'm going to Panda, kill the Tremor, and then Fear here. My DH just like, did he just 100-0 the Priest so I wasn't targeting him? I think that's kind of what just happened. So DH is getting, or Priest actually getting cranked. He dies through sack. That's crazy. That was great. I still had silence out of that though. So, I mean, this game honestly didn't do that much damage. I feel like there's probably better examples of playing the Wizkdmg talents and crankifying people. I'm playing Shadow Crash this game, so it can't be it. It seems like I'm really opting to play Shadow Crash against a lot of these teams. Alright, here we go. This is a Boomy Rogue. So I get my full Void Torrent off. It's going to give me my Mind Trauma stacks, my Insanity, PI, Dark Ascension. I only have one player dotted. Kind of an error in my part. I think the Shaman dispelled someone, that's why. I'm just too slow to redot. Got cogged up, so I will dot him though. I've only dotted the boom cannon. I silenced him. This is looking like a very questionable game from Spooky Man. Okay, we got dots on 2 at least. I will send the shaman out of this. He actually had time to ground this. Panning him half, kill the ground, double fear, win the game. Well, I think that might be it for examples, guys. You can follow the stream and we'll be playing some more, certainly. Couldn't beat this Feral Mage team. I think we won like 0-9 against him. It's crazy. Yeah, looks like it's about it. Well, in any case, I'll be back streaming. It was a good 15-minute video. I didn't feel like I was just rambling on and talking, but anyway, I hope someone learned something and then follow the stream for sure. Thank you guys. May the PvP be with you.